In 2004, a 19-year-old Harvard sophomore launched a website from his dorm room. 8 years later, he became a billionaire by taking his company public in the biggest tech IPO in history. Today, his creation has 3 billion users and he's worth over $100 billion. His name is Mark Zuckerberg. And the platform he built, Facebook, didn't just connect people. It fundamentally changed how humanity communicates, how information spreads, and how democracy itself functions. But here's what most people don't know. Mark Zuckerberg didn't invent social networking. He wasn't even the first person at Harvard to create a student directory. But he understood something his competitors didn't, and that understanding would make him one of the most powerful people on Earth. Today, we're breaking down exactly how Mark Zuckerberg built Facebook into Meta. The controversies, the acquisitions, the pivots. This is the complete story of how one college dropout created a trillion-dollar empire that controls how billions of people see the world. Mark Elliott Zuckerberg was born in 1984 in White Plains, New York. His father was a dentist. His mother was a psychiatrist. They were upper-middle-class professionals who pushed their kids to excel. Mark showed an early obsession with computers. By age 12, he'd built a messaging system for his father's dental office using Atari Basic. In high school, he created a music recommendation program called Synapse that Microsoft and AOL tried to buy. He turned them down. Mark was brilliant, but he was also intensely competitive. Everything was a game to win. Everything was a system to optimize. He fenced competitively. He studied Latin and ancient Greek. He got a perfect score on his SATs. In 2002, Mark enrolled at Harvard to study computer science and psychology. The combination would prove significant. He understood code, but he also understood what made people tick. During his sophomore year, Mark created a website called Facemash. The concept was simple and cruel. It scraped photos of Harvard students from dormitory directories and asked users to rate who was more attractive. It was essentially hot or not for Harvard students. Facemash went viral on Harvard's campus overnight. 22,000 photos viewed. 450 visitors within the first 4 hours. The site crashed Harvard's network. University administrators were furious. Mark was nearly expelled. But Mark had learned something crucial. Students were desperate for ways to connect online. The university provided email addresses but nothing to build community. There was a vacuum, and Mark realized he could fill it. Around the same time, 3 Harvard seniors, Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss and Divya Narendra, approached Mark to work on their project called Harvard Connection, later renamed Connect2. It was a social network for Harvard students. They wanted Mark to code it. Mark agreed but kept stalling. Meanwhile, he was building his own version. Something better. Something that would dominate. On February 4, 2004, Mark launched the Facebook from his dorm room in Kirkland House. The site was exclusively for Harvard students who had a harvard.edu email address. The concept was simple. Create a profile, add friends. See what your classmates were up to. Within 24 hours, over 1,200 Harvard students had signed up. Within a month, over half of Harvard's undergraduate population had profiles. The site was exploding. Mark's roommate, Dustin Moskovitz, and friend Eduardo Saverin joined as co-founders. Eduardo provided initial funding of about $15,000. They started expanding to other Ivy League schools, Yale, Columbia, Stanford, but the Winklevoss twins were furious. They accused Mark of stealing their idea. They claimed he deliberately delayed their project while building his own competing site. The accusation would haunt Mark for years. Mark didn't care about the controversy. He was focused on growth. By June 2004, the Facebook had 100,000 users. By December, 1 million. The growth was unprecedented. In summer 2004, Mark made a critical decision. He dropped out of Harvard and moved to Palo Alto, California. Silicon Valley was where tech companies became empires. If Facebook was going to dominate, it needed to be there. Mark rented a house with his co-founders. They worked around the clock, coding, fixing bugs, adding features. The company was still tiny, just a handful of people. But the user base kept growing exponentially. They needed money to scale. Facebook was burning through servers trying to handle the traffic. Mark met with investors and landed his first major funding. Peter Thiel, PayPal co-founder, invested $500,000 in exchange for 10.2% of the company. That investment would eventually be worth over $1 billion. It was one of the greatest venture capital returns in history. With funding secured, Mark pushed expansion aggressively. High school networks, international universities, regional networks. Facebook was no longer just for college students. It was becoming a global platform, but growth created problems. Eduardo Saverin, the CFO and co-founder, clashed with Mark over business strategy. Mark believed in aggressive expansion, even if it meant losing money. Eduardo wanted financial discipline and profitability. The conflict escalated. Mark diluted Eduardo's shares and effectively pushed him out of the company. Eduardo sued. The lawsuit eventually settled for an undisclosed amount, but Eduardo retained his co-founder title and a stake that would be worth billions. The Eduardo situation revealed something fundamental about Mark. He was ruthless when it came to protecting Facebook. Friendship, loyalty, even basic fairness took a backseat to the company's success. In 2005, Facebook raised $12.7 million from Axel Partners. The company was now valued at $100 million. Mark was 21 years old and on his way to becoming a billionaire. That same year, Facebook dropped the from its name. It was now simply Facebook. And Mark had a vision that went far beyond college networks. In September 2006, Facebook opened to everyone over age 13 with a valid email address. No college required. No network membership. Anyone could join. The user base exploded. By the end of 2006, Facebook had 12 million users. By 2007, 50 million. By 2008, 100 million. The growth curve was unlike anything the internet had ever seen. But with growth came temptation. In 2006, Yahoo offered to buy Facebook for $1 billion. Mark's board and investors pushed him to take the deal. He was 22 years old. He could walk away a billionaire. Mark said no. He believed Facebook would be worth far more. His board was furious. His investors thought he was insane. But Mark held firm. He was right. Within a few years, Facebook would be worth 10 times that amount. By 2007, Facebook had massive scale but minimal revenue. The platform was burning through cash. Investors were getting nervous. Mark needed to figure out how to turn users into money. The answer was advertising, but not traditional banner ads. Facebook had something no other platform possessed: data. Billions of data points about who people were, what they liked, who they knew, what they clicked on. Facebook could offer advertisers unprecedented targeting. Want to reach 25-year-old women in Chicago who like yoga? Facebook could do that. Want to reach small business owners interested in marketing software? Facebook could do that too. In 2007, Facebook launched Facebook Ads and Beacon. Beacon was a disaster that tracked user purchases on other websites and posted them to Facebook without permission. The privacy backlash was severe. Mark apologized and shut it down. But Facebook ads worked. Revenue started flowing. Advertisers loved the targeting capabilities. By 2009, Facebook was generating hundreds of millions in ad revenue. By 2011, over $3 billion. Mark had cracked the code. Facebook was a money printing machine, but Mark wasn't satisfied with just Facebook. He saw competitors emerging. Twitter was growing. Instagram was attracting young users with photo sharing. Other platforms threatened Facebook's dominance. Mark's strategy was simple. If you can't beat them, buy them. In 2012, Facebook acquired Instagram for $1 billion. Analysts called it insane. Instagram had 13 employees and zero revenue. How could it possibly be worth $1 billion? Mark understood what others didn't. Instagram was capturing the next generation of social media users. Young people were abandoning Facebook for Instagram's simpler, more visual platform. If Mark didn't buy Instagram, it would eventually kill Facebook. The acquisition proved genius. By 2024, Instagram would have over 2 billion users and generate tens of billions in ad revenue. It was one of the greatest tech acquisitions ever made. That same year, 2012, Facebook went public. The IPO was the biggest tech public offering in history, raising $16 billion and valuing Facebook at $104 billion. Mark became a billionaire many times over. At age 28, he was worth $19 billion. But the IPO was rocky. Technical glitches delayed trading. The stock price dropped immediately. Investors lost billions. Mark was criticized for taking Facebook public before it was ready. The controversy didn't matter. Within a year, Facebook's stock recovered and then soared. Mark's net worth climbed to $50 billion, then $75 billion, then over $100 billion. Mark continued his acquisition strategy. In 2014, Facebook bought WhatsApp for $19 billion. It was the largest acquisition of a venture-backed company in history. Critics were baffled. WhatsApp was a messaging app with 55 employees and minimal revenue. How could it be worth $19 billion? Again, Mark saw what others couldn't. WhatsApp had 600 million users, primarily in developing countries where Facebook hadn't penetrated. It was growing faster than any app in history. And messaging was the future of communication. The acquisition gave Facebook dominance in messaging worldwide. Combined with Facebook Messenger, the company controlled how billions of people communicated. Mark also acquired Oculus VR for $2 billion in 2014. Virtual reality was years away from mainstream adoption, but Mark believed it would be the next computing platform after smartphones. Wall Street questioned the purchase. Investors didn't understand why a social network company was buying a VR headset maker, but Mark was thinking decades ahead. By 2016, Facebook reached another milestone: 2 billion monthly active users. Half the internet-connected world was on Facebook. The platform had become essential infrastructure for human communication. But with scale came responsibility. And Facebook was about to face its biggest crisis. In 2016, Facebook became embroiled in the US presidential election. Russian operatives used the platform to spread disinformation and influence voters. Fake news articles went viral. Millions of Americans were exposed to propaganda designed to manipulate their political views. Facebook initially denied the problem. Mark dismissed the idea that fake news on Facebook influenced the election as pretty crazy. He would later admit he was wrong. Then came Cambridge Analytica. In 2018, it was revealed that a data firm had harvested personal information from 87 million Facebook users without their consent. The data was used to build psychological profiles and target political advertising. The scandal exploded. Congressional hearings, regulatory investigations, global outrage. Facebook stock plummeted. Mark's net worth dropped by $15 billion in a single day. Mark was forced to testify before Congress. He sat for over 10 hours across 2 days, answering questions from senators who barely understood how the internet worked. His robotic demeanor and scripted responses became memes. People questioned whether he was even human. The Cambridge Analytica crisis damaged Facebook's reputation permanently. Trust in the platform collapsed. Regulators around the world began investigating Facebook for privacy violations and anti-competitive behavior. Mark implemented changes, new privacy controls, transparency in political advertising, third-party fact-checking for news. But critics argued it was too little, too late. The controversies kept mounting. Facebook was accused of enabling genocide in Myanmar, allowing hate speech to proliferate, contributing to teen mental health crises through Instagram, prioritizing engagement over user well-being. Internal documents leaked by whistleblower Frances Haugen revealed that Facebook knew its algorithms promoted harmful content, but chose not to fix the problems because it would reduce engagement and profit. Mark defended the company aggressively. He argued Facebook connected people, gave voice to the marginalized, and enabled small businesses to thrive. He claimed the criticisms were unfair and politically motivated. But the damage was done. Facebook's brand was toxic. Young people were abandoning the platform. Regulators were circling. Competitors like TikTok were stealing users. Mark needed to reinvent Facebook or watch it slowly die. On October 28, 2021, Mark made a stunning announcement. Facebook was changing its name to Meta. The company was pivoting away from social media and betting its future on the metaverse. The metaverse was Mark's vision of the internet's future. Virtual reality worlds where people would work, play, socialize, and shop using avatars. Instead of scrolling through a feed, you'd be inside a three-dimensional digital universe. Mark believed this was the next evolution of human communication. Just as Facebook connected people through profiles and feeds, the metaverse would connect people through virtual presence. Wall Street was skeptical. Meta was spending tens of billions of dollars developing VR technology with no clear path to profitability. The company's Reality Labs division was losing over $10 billion per year. Investors revolted. Meta's stock crashed. Mark's net worth dropped by $70 billion. He fell from the top 5 richest people in the world. Critics mocked the metaverse. Videos of Mark's avatar in a cartoonish VR world went viral. People questioned whether anyone actually wanted to live in virtual reality. But Mark was undeterred. He'd been right about Instagram when everyone doubted him. He'd been right about WhatsApp. He believed he'd be right about the metaverse. Meanwhile, Meta faced existential threats. TikTok was dominating short-form video. Apple's privacy changes devastated Facebook's ad targeting. Revenue growth stalled. The company laid off 11,000 employees. Mark responded by refocusing on AI and making Instagram and Facebook more TikTok-like with Reels. The strategy worked. Engagement increased. Ad revenue recovered. By 2024, Meta stock had rebounded to new highs. Mark's net worth climbed back above $100 billion. Meta was valued at over $1 trillion. Despite all the controversies, all the scandals, all the predictions of Facebook's demise, Mark had survived. So how did Mark Zuckerberg build Facebook into Meta? Through ruthless competition, through strategic acquisitions, through understanding human psychology and exploiting it for engagement. Through betting big on the future even when everyone doubted him, Mark didn't invent social networking. He didn't create the first college network, but he executed better than anyone else. He scaled faster, he monetized smarter. He acquired competitors before they became threats. Facebook fundamentally changed human society. It connected billions of people. It democratized information. It gave voice to movements like the Arab Spring and Black Lives Matter. But it also enabled election interference, amplified misinformation, damaged teen mental health, contributed to political polarization, and made Mark Zuckerberg one of the most powerful and controversial figures in the world. From a Harvard dorm room to a trillion-dollar empire. From 19 years old to over $100 billion in net worth. Mark Zuckerberg's story is one of ambition, genius, ruthlessness, and controversy. He built a platform that 3 billion people use every month. He created a company that generates over $100 billion in annual revenue. He became one of the richest people in human history. Whether you see him as a visionary or a villain, there's no denying Mark Zuckerberg changed the world. And he's betting everything that the metaverse will change it again. If you found this breakdown of Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook's rise fascinating, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're covering the most incredible tech empires and controversial founder stories you won't find anywhere else. Drop a comment below. What other tech titans should we break down next? Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter, Steve Jobs and Apple's comeback? Bill Gates and Microsoft's monopoly? And if you want to understand how social media algorithms actually work, check out our video on how TikTok's recommendation system dominates. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.